Hello, beautiful people of the internet and the ugly ones. How you doing? This is Joe coming at you live from my desk, like I do everything. How is everybody today? I got a few people coming in, saying hello to Harry Everett. I saw, who was the first guy in there? Corbin D. Thanks for joining. Probably be some more people joining here soon, but just to give you an idea of what the plan is here. I did a podcast recently with a dude here in Dallas named Julian Placino. He runs a really great podcast called the Pathways to Success podcast, which makes me sound somewhat legit, I hope. I told him at one point in the podcast I didn't really feel like I belonged there because he has some really impressive people. I'm not being overly modest here, but like he has like TEDx speakers and entrepreneurs and people who've been on Shark Tank and like just very, very accomplished and impressive people on his podcast, and it's worth a listen. So he had me on, which was fantastic, and I felt very honored to be welcomed onto his show. But we talked about YouTube stuff. It's angled for people who are entrepreneurs and business owners and people who are media types. And anyway, so we talked about YouTube and the success that I've had on YouTube, the growth of the channel and all that. And it just happened to coincide with just a couple days ago, hit 75,000 subscribers. So that's exciting. I'm excited about that. And honestly, I think it's probably hitting 76 right now. I would go look, but I'm kind of doing a live stream right now. But no, I think it's just about hit. It was like 997 the last time I looked. Anyway, so it all kind of corresponded together, and I sort of realized that I've been doing this for a while, and I've never really talked about the YouTube thing with you guys, and that's kind of weird when I think about it. Because this is what I do. It's not just what I do here on the channel, but it's what I do professionally. I consult with business people and YouTubers and stuff. So, I work with one of the top guys in the industry, and I'm YouTube certified and all that stuff. So, I'm somebody that actually has some stuff that I could share. And I've never really talked about it on this channel because that's not really what the channel is about. But I thought, why not? Why not talk about it to sort of celebrate the 75 thing? And I was going to share a few clips from my talk with Julian. And there's also, by the way, there's links down in the description to the full podcast. There's a video version and an audio version, obviously. And I got a link to Julian's YouTube channel, which I definitely recommend checking out if you're interested in this kind of thing, which you should be, because this is important stuff, in my opinion. But so anyway, yeah, I think I'll just kind of jump right into it. So what I want to ask all the people who are watching live, there's about 63 of them right now, seeing some people chiming in. Buenos dias, says Louis Hurtado. Good to see you, man. He's a answer file on Patreon. Super appreciative of all your support. But anyway, so if you ever had a question, this is like everything you wanted to know about YouTube but were too afraid to ask. I don't know why you'd be afraid to ask about that, but that's the phrase. Ask them, kind of get them ready. I will do the Q&A part later, so don't just start throwing questions at me now. I probably won't see them because I'm kind of going back and forth. But get some questions ready if you ever wanted to know how I do what I do, any YouTube tips or anything like that, anything specific. Get them ready, and I will answer them, and we can spend a little time doing that, just talking about the YouTube thing. A little bit of a change for the channel, but why not? So first clip with Julian is, let's see, there were 3 of them. One of them's kind of long, but I guess I'll just start with the one where he asked how I got started. And I might have told this story before here and there with you guys, so if I'm repeating anything, forgive me, but I'll just start with that. So here we go.
So why did you start this channel? Was it a creative outlet? Did you have kind of an overarching vision for it, or what?
Well, so again, with the filmmaking background,
yeah.
Anybody that works in film or is trying to get films made, it's just an endless series of catch-22s.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. You got to spend years just getting the money together, and then you finally make the movie, and then it's another year of editing, and then if you can get a theater to even play it, people watch it and go, huh, and that's about all you get.
Mm-hmm.
On YouTube, you can spend a little bit of time. Obviously, you want to make a good one. You don't just throw crap up. But, I can put something up and get people see it immediately.
Yeah.
And it's still, I always say it scratched all my itches.
Mm-hmm.
I was still writing. I was still producing, shooting, performing, because I do some acting too. So it was all kind of wrapped together in that package. And I remember a specific moment. I was walking to my car after work, and it's weird how like memories, you can like go back to a specific place where you had that thought.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm talking about here. But I was walking out to my car, and I'd always been struggling, like I shouldn't be doing YouTube. I'm a filmmaker. I'm an artist, right? And I was really struggling with that. And I finally just kind of like let that go. You know, I was like, no, just this. You're getting everything you need out of this. All the itches are being scratched. That's why you're doing it. Allow yourself to do it. Allow yourself to be this, and just go with it. Caught me off guard. So yeah, I mean, just to expand on that a little bit, I started as a filmmaker, screenwriter. That's still a main interest of mine, but I just had so many troubles getting the big films done that I decided to just kind of turn my attention to YouTube. And when that started working, I kept at it. The weird psychological thing I had to go through, as I talked about there, was just kind of learning to let go of what I feel like I should be, and embracing the thing that's working and that's affecting people. So I don't know if there's a story there for everybody else, some kind of life lesson to take away from that or anything. It's what worked for me anyway. And as I keep saying, I really hope that in the not too distant future, I'll be doing some more short films, sketches, and stuff like that on this channel to kind of pull that side of me into it, because it is still a very important side. It's a big part of who I am and what I enjoy doing. So I hope you guys like that, because it'll be fun for me anyway. But no, I'll jump right into the next video. And by the way, yeah, if it looks like this video is overexposed, it's probably not. It's just I'm that pale. That's probably all it is. The clips that I'm showing you here, I was watching them later. It's like, God, these fluorescent lights that I use, they don't exactly give you a tan. And if they did, I probably wouldn't tan anyway, because that's how I roll. But so taking it from where I got started and how I began my channel, Julian then went on to ask, like, what would I suggest to anybody who wanted to start a channel? What would be the first thing that you would do? And yeah, this is my answer. I'll jump right into it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you were to teach, like someone like you and I were talking earlier, right? Because there's a lot of people who want to be creators, but it's so hard. It's so hard to see the bridge to success, right? Because you see like the PewDiePies and stuff like that, right? So if you were to teach someone like where to start and how to do it, like what would be maybe some key steps to get started?
Well, it depends on what your goals are.
Yeah.
There's lots of different things you can do with YouTube. But I'm assuming you're talking about building an audience.
Building an audience,
we can,
right.
We can go from there. The first thing I would tell anybody is, if you're first starting out, you got nothing on YouTube, is build your library. A lot of people, I run into so many people that are like, oh, I've got this idea for a channel. I've got 20 different episodes outlined, and I haven't done anything yet. It's like, oh my God. The thing is, you might have the best video in the world on YouTube, but if somebody watches it and then goes to your channel and that's the only video in their channel, what are they going to subscribe to?
Right.
That one video? You got to have some kind of library built up. So, and by the way, like I've got 350 or 400, I've lost count now, number of videos I have. Let's just say 350, but whatever. Like, the more videos you have on there, the more opportunities and more touch points there are for people to find your stuff.
Yeah.
So if you overthink it and you're like, oh, I'm gonna only put out, just every once in a while when I have some brilliant idea, you're just not gonna grow as fast.
Yeah.
Now there are exceptions to that rule, obviously, but my first advice to anybody is build a library. Just start putting videos out there.
So
And consistency, yeah. So Chris Johnson says hello and says that I wear too much foundation, guys. I don't wear enough foundation. I would, you know what, seriously, so I've done some acting here and there, and they have, put me in a makeup chair and done the makeup thing on me, and I am very envious of women, because you can do that every day. Like, every day you can put makeup on and look good. You can improve on this. That's not something guys can do without people thinking you're weird, so that's not fair. Anyway, I am not wearing any foundation in that clip. I am not wearing any foundation now. I don't have foundation. I mostly just kind of get the shine off of me if I can. Anyway, wow, that went off track. So, yeah, let's get back to what we're talking about here. I want to, okay, so there's one more clip. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it because it is kind of long and I want to get to some Q&A time. But there's a funny sort of outtake at the beginning of this that gets spun into talk about something that I think would interest you guys because it talks about some of the, what they call rituals that I do here on the channel, things like spinning around in my chair, some of the phrases, tangent cam, stuff like that. I wanted to leave that in. I wanted that to share with you guys because you all see it. I mean, if you follow this channel in any capacity, you've seen me do these things, and maybe you didn't know why I did them. Maybe you love them. Maybe you think they're stupid. I think some of them are stupid, for that matter. But they're things that I stuck with, and there's a reason for that, and I talk about that reason here. So I'll just go ahead and share that with you, and I thought this would be fun for you guys because it gives a little bit of a behind the scenes of the things that you've seen over and over again on this channel, maybe why I do some of these things that I do. So anyway, here you go.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. Oh, wrong one.
And that's what I've experienced from your channel. So we've kind of talked about the beginning, like how to start to create the consistency, some of the keys. Now, I know one of the things that you're passionate about is talking about how to grow a channel. So like once you have a little bit of a following and some momentum, like how do you get it out there then?
Once you have the momentum going?
Yeah.
The first thing that's coming to my mind as you ask that question is the whole efficiencies thing.
That happens here, yeah.
What the hell was that?
The pipes, yeah.
See, I throw fart noises into my videos no matter where I go.
There you go, yeah.
So threw me. What was that? Seriously?
Yeah, it's the pipes. Yeah, I keep it in the recordings now. It's like it's a pain to have to edit that out, but that's gonna happen throughout the duration of our conversation.
Great segue. That's a great segue. So that's the thing you leave in now. You just said.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a book called Primal Branding.
Okay.
That I recommend to any marketer out there. YouTube actually refers to this book in terms of like telling their creators how to build audiences and stuff. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that he talks about in there is rituals. And this is something I struggle with for so long because it's like, how do you create a ritual? And what it is basically is like if you watch a lot of big YouTube channels, they open every video the same way and they close every video the same way. Like if you watch Phil DeFranco, he's got, hello, you beautiful bastards, this is Phil DeFranco, and he starts, it's almost annoying to be honest with you, but like he starts every video exactly the same, ends it the same way. But, Wheezy Waiter, if you follow him, he does this whole punching eagles thing, and he's got clones of himself that are, it's a comedy channel.
Yeah.
But, so the things that you leave in, the little inside jokes, are what kind of builds a community.
Yeah.
Because people start to look for them, and they, we'll talk about it in the comments. Oh, you put that line in there today. Some of mine, just to share, and these just kind of happened organically.
Yeah.
Like I said, I read the book, and as I was building the channel, I was like, oh, I need to find rituals, and how do you come up with that? And I really struggle with it. They talk about creating a name for your audience, which I still have not quite figured out. But so, okay, I spin around in my chair at the beginning of every episode.
Yeah.
I can't tell you why. I think I just didn't want to start the video with my face. I wanted like some kind of entrance. But I didn't want to like walk in. Like it was just the simplest thing because I was in a revolving chair. I was like, I'll spin around in my chair at the beginning of it. And so that's what I started doing, and I think it's kind of silly actually. But I've had people say that I've had comments from people that say that their kids love my show and they call me the Spinning Man. The
Spinning Man, wow.
Yeah.
So people are connecting with it, yeah.
They connect with it,
yeah.
And it's become this whole thing, and so that's one thing. I do this thing now, like whenever I'm talking about a scientist, like let's say Peter Higgs, who came up with the whole Higgs field thing back in the 60s, he's still around. He's like 90-something years old, and he's still doing science. And so whenever there's that, whenever I see one of those, I always say, good show, old chap. I don't think that's even the way that phrase is supposed to be used, but I use it, and it's something that I just kind of kept doing. I have something called a tangent cam.
Yeah.
Where I'm talking, I call it the camera A or whatever, but I'm talking, and then I have some just kind of interesting side note. And I've got my little GoPro over here, and I just turn around, and it's got tangent cam across the bottom. So I throw in a little tangent.
Yeah.
And over time, I started ending my videos the same way. And again, it wasn't necessarily because I wanted a ritual at the end. It was like, I'm just bad at ending videos. You know, if I don't have something solid there to just kind of like hang my hat on,
Yeah.
then I sit there like, okay, I guess I'm done talking now. You know, so but just having that little button at the end that you know you can just go to. I always say, love you guys, take care at the end. And I totally stole that from Dean Lewis, who taught my stand-up comedy class that I did way back when. At the end of class, he would say, love you guys. And it was just a little thing, but I always walked out like, oh.
So, but you're honestly just being yourself, though, right? Like, are you putting on a character to any degree, or is it just honestly just the way that you are? Like your friends, when they see your videos and they get to hang out with you, like, that really is him.
I've had people who don't know me who have been watching my channel and then met me in person. They're like, wow, you're exactly the same in person. And I'm like, well,
yeah,
good.
I felt that way when you had lunch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did it again. No microphone. I'm a pro at this. Yeah. Can't hear? I know you can't hear. That's what I do. That's one of my live stream rituals, is to not have microphone sounds every once in a while. I do it on purpose. Do it on purpose. No, what I was saying silently, where you couldn't hear me, was Louis Hurtado was asking if answer files was the term that I use for everybody. I'm sorry, I'm watching it get caught up over here. There's my reaction. Oh, I'm an idiot. Yeah, that's a ritual for me. Anyway, the word answer files was something that I kind of landed on a while back. I've kind of reserved it for Patreon people because I just kind of want them to feel extra special because they're doing extra stuff. But as far as I'm concerned, anybody who is really involved in the channel, commenting on a regular basis, asking questions, showing up for live streams, stuff like that. I mean, even though the number of subscribers has gotten really big, there's a certain number of people whose names I see over and over again, and I don't know if you know that I see them or not. I really do, and I appreciate it. I feel like I should be better in the comments. I used to be a lot better about responding to everybody. But I have this thing where, I'm just kind of getting into my own psychology here for you, but like I have this thing where I want to give some kind of valuable response to you if I read a comment, especially one that has a really good point to make. But, you know, I'm getting so many of them and so many are coming in, I just don't have time to really engage. So the choice is either I can only respond to a few people with something really, you know, a real comment, or I can respond to everybody with a, hey, great, thanks, man, you know, and move on. I'm still trying to figure out how to work all that. As the channel has grown and as it's kind of entered new stages, it's kind of, I'm in a constant position of trying to figure out how to handle the new whatever. So that's something new that I'm working on right now. Nobody asked about that, but here I am talking about it. So those are all the clips, and I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that kind of gave you a little bit of a background on why I do some of the little things that I do on the channel. It's not, it was not something that was manufactured. It was pretty organic, but it was something I was keeping an eye out for. So when I saw something that felt good and seemed to get a good response from you guys, you know, I went with it, and now you can kind of see why. Anyway, so I guess I can do some Q&A, like I said before. If you guys have any questions about YouTube, how I do what I do, I can talk a little bit about my setup here. Somebody commented that the other day, was asking me to talk about my setup, so I could do that real quick. And I wish I could like bounce to my phone here and shoot what I'm talking about. It's kind of hard to explain when I don't have something to show you. But so I got this microphone Can you even see it now? It's down underneath the screen there. But I got like a nice radio mic. What I use right now when I'm shooting my actual videos, I have a lavalier mic, which is this right here. It's clipped on. Usually I try to hide it as much as possible, but I don't care if you guys see it. It's not like a movie set or anything. But that's what I use in the regular videos. And, I got my chair on rollers so I can run over my cat and move around back and forth, do this from one shot to the other. And I only bounce around like that just so that you're not looking at one face the whole time staring at you. Add a little bit of movement in there. And right now I'm shooting on a Sony a6000 camera that is wired into my computer. Thank God I finally figured that out. And the sound is going through a Scarlett T1 2i2. Scarlett 2i2 is what it is. A little sound box. And so that's my setup. I could go into more detail, but that's not really what we're talking about here. So we got some questions coming in. Let me look here. Can we have some videos? By the way, for some reason the live chat is cut off. I don't know why. Let me see if I can play with it just real quick. See if I can make that pop up. No, I don't know why. It's cutting off the... Sorry, guys. So I'll read some of these, but they're getting cut off, so I might be a little screwed up here. But wait, there was one. Can we have videos on cognitive computing, something, immortality, artificial general intelligence, society of the future? That was from Upinder Chu. I'm sure I've murdered that name. Apologize if I did. There's going to be more on that, definitely. I can spill a little bit of a tease here. I will finally get into blockchain and cryptocurrencies, hopefully in December. That's what's planned for December. Poison Toad said to go on, show us the cat. Well, he ran off, so I can't. Black cat, totally black cat. Very Halloween in this house all the time. So Skydiving Stormtrooper says this beats the old camera. Thank you. No, I'm glad. Oh, by the way, there was a thing that went around on the Patreon, and I think I saw him in here earlier, and I'm sorry I didn't respond to you, but in my old camera, there was a dead pixel that you really had to look for, and I'm so sorry. I can't remember the name of the guy who did this, but we were on Discord, which if you join on Patreon, you get to talk to us on Discord. I've been pretty bad about that too. But anyway, he actually went through and found where the dead pixel started on the old camera. Like went through all my videos and found that. It's just that's like the funniest thing that anybody's ever done. Like he became obsessed by the dead pixel. So funny to me. Troy is asking if I ever do meetups in Dallas. I haven't. I don't know how many of my viewers are in Dallas, so I totally would if there were some people that wanted to get together sometime. That'd be a blast. John Smith is asking if he missed Julian. Yeah. There were 3 clips that I showed earlier. This will stay up so you can catch it later. So Wilkes Vandemer is asking why is there such I'm guessing a delay between the comments here when you see them. That's a good question. I don't know why. I think it has to do with the buffering. So what do they call it? It's not the bit rate, but they have I'm forgetting the term, but there's something that YouTube does to keep it from having to buffer. So you can set it for high and you can set it for low latency. That's the word I'm looking for. You can set a high or low latency. The low one means it'll pop out faster, but you could lose, it might cut out and you might have to buffer. It all has to do with speeds. So I guess I've got mine set for high latency so that it's safer, so we don't have any dropouts or anything. The last thing I want is for me to be in the middle of one of these and it drops out. So it is a bummer that there's such a, that there's such a high delay there. Sorry about that. Do a video on NASA's future, because right, Mo, it's something, and it got cut off. I will definitely be doing some more videos about NASA. I'm definitely gonna be doing more about like NASA versus SpaceX, because looking at the comments of some of the videos where I've talked about their different plans, there's definitely a Team NASA and Team SpaceX. So I might want to play with that a little bit. Could be kind of fun. Tony's asking if I'm going to do a video on the new Tesla Semi and Roadster. I have some thoughts. I do have some thoughts on that. I will not be sharing them right now. Yeah, I will. It'll be kind of late. I mean, this is Thanksgiving week, so I'm going to be out of commission until probably Monday. But I was going to do a video about that and just throw it up. Not like on a regular Monday video, but just a midweek sharing my thoughts kind of video. I'm trying to do more of those, just now that I've got this set up so that I can literally just press a button and record something. I'm trying to do more just off the cuff videos about things that are interesting and whatever thoughts I might have on things. You guys might start getting sick of me. I don't know. Let's see. How do I feel about TED Talks? Asks Chris Johnson. I like them, I guess. I feel like there's a lot of them out there now. It used to be more exclusive, and now it seems like there's a whole bunch out there. Although I have to say, if I had the chance, I would love to do a TED Talk someday. I think that'd be awesome. I don't know what I would do it on, but we'll see. Let's see. Did I ever read the AGI article on Wait But Why? Yes, I did. Time in Dallas asks Parth, like, what time is it right now? It's about 2:30 in the afternoon. What do I think my target audience is? Is it something towards the aficionados for general science or curious? I'm sorry, this is getting cut off. What I think my target audience is, well, just looking at my demographics, it's like 95% dudes. We need to get some women up in here, guys. But it's generally between the ages of, let's say, 50 to 35 males who are generally interested in science topics. And it's funny because the audience will shift whenever a video does really well, and I'll start to get a lot, like if I do a video, let's just say the video I do about simulation theory or something like that goes really well, I'll start getting a lot of people asking the more fringy type stuff like that, and making more, let's say, fringy comments in the comment section. Even lovely flat earthers keep popping up, but I think it's not necessarily professional scientist people, because I am nowhere near a professional scientist. I think if I was a professional scientist and I got on my channel and saw the kind of things that I was saying, I would probably be pulling my hair out, like, who is this guy? Why is he talking about this? But I think it's more for people that are, like me, people who enjoy watching Cosmos and just kind of just get into science and technology stuff. That was a very lame answer, but that's the best I can do. Let's see. Frosty Flake, I just ordered a Model X and figured I might as well order a Falcon 9 Heavy. You might get them at about the same time. Actually, the Model X's you can get pretty quickly, I believe. There's not a bottleneck there. If you said Model 3, yeah, probably. Sean is saying we need fusion before flying cars. I don't see flying cars being a thing. Honestly, I did a video about how Uber was working on a flying, like a drone that can carry a person, basically. All that's going to take is for one of those things to crash, and that dream is over. So I don't see that really becoming a thing for a very long time, unless we develop some kind of new, anti-gravity propulsion thing in the year 2500 or something like that. I just don't see that happening. My thoughts on when there will be free energy. Well, that's a loaded question. Sun Studios in Memphis, by the way. Much better than Graceland. Always go to Sun Studios. It was really cool. Why don't I cover the European Space Agency? That's a good question. I should. Well, were they on New Horizons? Which one was theirs? No, the Rosetta mission. The Rosetta mission. I did cover that one a little bit. I should cover the European Space Agency. You're right. And I know China and India are also coming along, especially China, in their space development. Project Daedalus, asks Harry Everett, or Evitt. Is that a new thing, or is that like the old proposed space station that never actually happened? I mostly know about that from the movie Space Camp, which Awesome movie, by the way. Tea or coffee? This is coffee. Very much coffee. Let's see. What else we got? Do we have any YouTube questions? That was kind of the idea here. We're getting into more regular content ideas, which is fine. But that knuckle crack, wait for it. Yeah. Morphic Fields asks a Korean name that I don't know how to read. I don't know what they are. I'll have to look into that. Let's see. Have I had monetization problems? Okay, says Marco Panetta. I have not really had monetization problems like a lot of other people have, or at least according to some of the things that I've heard. And I think partly that's because I run a pretty clean channel. You know, if I do curse, I bleep it out, which is not... The only reason I bleep out as opposed to actually say curse words, honestly, is because I just think it's funnier. I think it's funnier when you bleep something than when you actually say it. And when you curse over and over and over again, you eventually tune it out, and it's just noise at that point. You know, like you don't even it adds nothing to it anymore. But if you curse and you bleep it out, it's kind of like it's a joke, and there's a giggle factor there. But anyway, I don't know if that's why I haven't had the problems that other people have. I have had a few videos get demonetized that I was able to challenge, and they got put back up. One of them specifically was from about a year ago when we got our dog, when we got Zoe. I did a video about how I fell in love with her so fast, and I was basically got nerdy with it, go figure, and I made it about excuse me, about oxytocin, the cuddle hormone that our bodies produce that that causes us to bond with things, people and animals and whatnot. And so I made it about that, but the title of the video was "Is Love Just a Drug?" And I guess just because it had the word drug in it, that video got demonetized. So it's kind of like this scorched earth policy that YouTube has. And if you go in and challenge them, at least in my experience, if I go in and challenge those, they've always come back. So I haven't really lost monetization on very many things. There are some, obviously, that I used copyrighted music unknowingly, or even knowingly in some cases, and so of course those get demonetized. And fair enough, you know, that's part of the gig. You can't use copyrighted stuff. So let's see. Parth is asking what I studied in college. I studied radio, TV, film, and I minored in advertising. So no, I have no credentials for speaking about the things that I talk about here. Do I read a lot of sci-fi books or watch sci-fi movies, TV shows? And if so, can I recommend some? Not nearly as much as I should. That's the God's honest truth. I read a lot of like articles and stuff when I'm researching for these videos. And it's kind of one of these things that I've just kind of been doing it for so long. I've picked up on a lot of stuff. So if my level of understanding of some of these things is like here, as opposed to everybody else, or you know, a majority of people or whatever, if it is, it's only because I've just been kind of forced to research and study these things, which is fine. That's one of the things I love about doing this channel is it gives me an incentive to learn things that I wind up finding really fascinating. You know, there's a lot of things that I never would have looked into in a million years, but because I was asked something about it, I did, and I found it fascinating, and it led, you know, down a rabbit hole to some other stuff that was fascinating. So, but because of that, because I'm always researching and writing and working on videos and stuff, I really haven't been reading as much as I should, as much as I would like to. And somebody asked earlier about biocentrism. That's a topic that I do want to talk about, but I want to cover it right. And there's a book out there from, is it Joseph Lanza or Robert Lanza? Is that his name? I want to read the book first. And I just haven't had time to sit down and read the book. So it's something that's kind of perennially on the back burner. I will get to it eventually. I find it an interesting concept, but I want to make sure I don't screw it up too much, honestly. So that kind of answers your question. You're asking if I like sci-fi movies and TV shows. I've been enjoying the Orville, honestly. I don't know. I know there's some purists out there that feel like it doesn't have the right tone because it's still kind of in that humor category. But go figure, I would like science fiction and humor combined. But I do feel, and I'm not a Star Trek aficionado necessarily. I haven't seen every single Star Trek episode from every single series, but I definitely followed The Next Generation when I was younger. But I feel like it captures that spirit pretty well. And they've talked about some interesting concepts that I find interesting. I, of course, watched Rick and Morty, and of course it's not around anymore. But interestingly, there was, in the very same week that Orville and Rick and Morty both had an episode where the main characters were stuck in a human zoo. Like in the very same week. I thought that was weird synchronicity there. Anyway. Let's see. More coffee. My voice is getting strained. Let's see. Sean is talking about Tesla as a really well-trained visual neural lace, I'm guessing, but we don't know the details. Yeah, okay. Stepu asked, do I have a job outside of YouTube? I do. It's been kind of in and out right now, but it looks like in December I'm going to be going back on pretty much full-time. And but it is YouTube though. I'm doing YouTube. I'm managing YouTube channels for businesses, and I'm consulting with YouTubers and people with small businesses who want to grow on YouTube. So I'm all in on YouTube these days, pretty much, which is cool. It's exciting. Old Gamer Noob asked, "Do I watch a lot of YouTube yourself?" Oh, okay. Are you asking if I watch a lot of like other people's YouTube or watch my own stuff? I'll answer both of those. Yes, I'm on YouTube pretty much all day long. So yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube. What I will say, in terms of if I watch myself, here's what happens. I'll get a comment on a video that's like a year old that I haven't seen in forever. And I'll be like, what is this guy talking about? You know, I'm just, what? And then I have to go back and watch my video from a year ago, and it's kind of fascinating to go back and see how things have changed over the years, see how my face has gotten wider since I got started. So every once in a while I'll go down a little bit of an Answers with Joe rabbit hole myself, and then I kind of realize, wow, am I just an absolute narcissist? I'm just sitting here watching myself on YouTube. But it's interesting to go back and kind of see how things have changed and see how my presentation has changed and everything. So it's something I stumble into every once in a while. Luis Hurtado, $20 super chat, man. Happy Thanksgiving, Joe. Have a drink on me, or whatever your advice is. Oh, well, thanks, man. You're like one of the longest running supporters on Patreon. What are you doing giving me this? Thank you. No, that's very nice. Thank you. Have a drink on me. I'll be drinking. Anytime you're spending time with family, there's gonna be some drinking. No. Funny fact, my wife's family, I guess I'm just really bad about giving. I'm really bad about like putting together Christmas lists and stuff. So every year they wind up giving, like I go to see her family and I wind up with a whole bunch of booze. And I don't know how they landed on booze, but I'm not that much of a drinker. I drink maybe once a week. Sometimes once every 2 weeks. Like I'm just not a big drinker, but I drink socially whenever I go out with people and stuff. But it's just funny. Like there was one Christmas I opened up like 4 presents and they were all booze, and I'm like, what do you guys think of me? Like anyway, it's just funny. It was just kind of like something they landed on. It wasn't anyway. It was just a funny thing. Let's see. Any thoughts on inviting guests and doing podcasts? From CX Tryhard. Oh my god, I need to get back on the podcast, guys. I've totally, crapped the bed on podcasts, which is why when I got on Julian's podcast, I was like, I need to share that because I haven't done one in a while. Yeah, I need to be doing that. What I really would like to do, and I've been saying this for almost a year now, is to get people who are other YouTubers and or experts of some kind, to talk about whatever I did that week. Like, so let's say that this week I did the Venus Project on Monday. On Wednesday or Thursday I could do a video, let's talk about the Venus Project, and I can share clips from somebody who, has a little bit more knowledge about the resource-based economy and whatnot. And I still want to do that, but it takes some earlier planning than what I've been doing right now. Hopefully after the holidays I can, get in a flow, and we'll see. That's something I'm definitely working on. Okay, somebody threw a super chat at me and it slipped by. Who is this? Skydiving Stormtrooper. Oh, thank you for telling my biocentrism video. So that'll buy me a little time to sit down and read the book. No, thank you for that. That's very nice. Alfie George just want to let me know when I started my videos I binge watched for 6 hours straight. Yeah, that can happen. Thank you for that. I actually sat down one time and I looked at how much content I put out a year, and it was something like 19, 20, 21 hours, something like that, of content throughout the year. And it just struck me how much that is. Like that's like a TV series. Amazing. At least I have something to show for all my late nights editing video and stuff. Jonathan Francisco, thank you, sir, so much. These are all Patreon supporters. They're throwing super chats at me. Thank you. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. I'm about to start crying. Good Lord. Thank you so much. Booze, do they give each other alcohol too, or is that just you? Some of the other guys in the family would get alcohol. I think it's just I don't know, it's like a guy thing. But it's my fault because I don't tell them anything to get me, because I just never, I'm just bad about thinking about that kind of stuff. But anyway. So Dagar Co H, then have to invite Robert Miles. Is this the number file guy or the computer file guy? I believe you may have brought that up once before in a comment, and I did see that. Yeah, I need to look into that, and thank you for the suggestion. Which book behind me do I prefer? There's something cut off there. What books are behind me here? Yeah, here. If you read any of XKCD's comics, the guy who did it, his name is Randall Monroe. He did this book called What If? Serious scientific answers to absurd hypothetical questions. This is one of the most entertaining books I've read in a long time. I mean, like, let me just open to a random page and you will see what kind of topics they talk about here. All right. If my printer could literally print out money, would it have that big an effect on the world? So he does the math to figure out how much you would be screwing over the economy if you did that. Actually, that's a short answer section. If every human somehow simply disappeared from the face of the earth, how long would it be before the last artificial light source would go out? This is the kind of stuff that I would do videos about here in a heartbeat. Like, this is just fun, hypothetical questions, and he answers them in a very entertaining way. I definitely recommend this book. It's an absolute blast. All right, back to questions. And I'm just going to take a few more and we can get on with our day and eventually holiday. So, Sean Grork. Hey, Joe, were you surprised to land this type of audience, and was it different to the audience you were expecting? Good question. Yeah, so from the beginning, I don't know that I was expecting any particular type of audience. I expected the channel to be more of a comedy channel than it became. Once it sort of veered into science entertainment category, I think I got the audience I expected, which is great. And so I don't know if that answers your question or not, but yeah, that's the best answer I can give. Let's see. Jonathan Francisco has probably seen about 60 hours of my video. And you went back. Yeah, I think I saw some of your comments on like the old school videos. I leave them on there because I think it's fun for people to go back and see where this whole thing started. And sometimes, honestly, I go back and look at the older videos and I kind of miss doing videos like that, which is also reminiscent of the lightning round. Like the lightning round videos I do now are much more like what I used to do back in the day, which, by the way, spoiler, that's what next Monday's video is. I'm doing the lightning round video that's coming up. And it was a lot of fun. Harry Evan asks if it's just me making my videos and how long does it take to get a video made. Right now it is just me. I have a few people who have come up and offered help, and it's always a struggle for me to try to organize enough to where other people can help. I'm working on that because usually I'm kind of banging these things out, trying to finish them at the last minute. I've been a lot better about that recently, but right now, yeah, it's just me. And how long does it take to get a video made? I gotta be honest, sometimes it depends. Sometimes they literally write themselves. It's just the easiest thing in the world to just, write it out and then record it, edit, good to go. This Venus Project one, it was like pulling my toenails out. It was very difficult. Not because there wasn't enough information out there, it was because there was a ton of information out there. I mean, the Venus Project themselves has released like 3 or 4 feature-length documentaries. And there was, it was like drinking from a fire hose, and then trying to figure out a way to organize that in a way that makes sense, and then just figure out what I think about it, and what kind of not spin, but what kind of angle I could apply to it that is unique or worthy of people watching that they can't see somewhere else. So sometimes it's a challenge. That particular one, I don't even know if I could break it down into hours, but it would probably be 20, 25 hours, something like that. Average time winning a team. Okay, that was the same kind of question. Lightning round, yes, lightning round, woo. Morin says I'm doing an awesome job. Thank you very much. Hank Green suggested that one of his videos too. Yeah, this thing's cut off. Sorry, guys. Thoughts on making clickbait titles and turning into a sellout, I'm guessing is what that said. So my theory on clickbait is nobody cares if what they click to delivers in some way, whether it's a blog post or a video or an article or whatever. And this comes from, and maybe some of you guys know this, some of you may not. I actually ran a website for a while. It's kind of off my plate now, but it was called The Daily Epic. It was thedailyepic.com. It was like a viral video sharing thing. Anyway, but I learned a lot about clickbait there because that was back in the day when, a few years ago, when everything on Facebook was, you won't believe what happens next, I tried to avoid doing that as much as I could because it disgusts me as much as it does everybody else. But I gotta say, when I did it, it worked. I got a whole lot of views on those blog posts. And because I was, making some money off the site, I was incentivized to do more of that. But honestly, I did it as little as I possibly could. But what I learned to do over time, and I'm applying it here and there to the YouTube channel, is that if I really, going back to the Daily Epic, if it was a really strong video, like if it was a video I knew everybody would be like, wow, that was amazing, then I didn't mind being a little clickbaity with the title because I knew people were going to like it. If it was a video that I knew was just kind of meh, like it was semi-interesting or some people might like it, most people wouldn't or whatever, then I would give it a basic title. Because if you give it a big sensational, you don't believe what happens next kind of title, and then people click on it and it's just something, that's when people want to throw their computer out the window, and that's when people feel cheated. They don't feel cheated if it's a good video. So in the case of my YouTube channel now, like I've been doing it long enough, and I talked about this in the podcast with Julian. I've been doing it long enough now to know what topics are going to resonate with people, or resonate with you guys anyway. I know which ones are going to stir conversation, might be semi-controversial. I know which ones people are going to enjoy a little bit more. And so in those cases, I don't mind being a little bit, and I mean just like on the edge of clickbait, because I know that you guys it'll be worth it. So that's my theory. Just for a quick story, I the one that really set me off, there was, what was it, Viral Nova, I guess was the website on Facebook. God, they did a post. I still remember the title. It said, okay, so the picture was a guy's backyard, and he had like an area, like a kidney-shaped area, painted out. And the headline said, "At first I thought he was crazy. Now I think he's a genius. This guy's my hero." That was word for word. That was the title. And it would intrigue me, like, what is so great about this? I don't know. So I clicked on it. It was literally a guy putting in a pool. It was a series of pictures of a guy putting a pool in his backyard. And I was I like if it was a physical thing in front of me, I would have burned it. I was so mad. That's what I'm talking about avoiding, right? And I would never be that clickbaity with a title anyway in my YouTube channel. But if I know it's a great video and if I know that you guys are really gonna like it, then I almost feel like it's my obligation to get as many people to watch it as possible because you're gonna like it. Otherwise, I don't do it. But I don't go anywhere near that level of clickbait. Anyway, I talked about that way too long. Let's see. Orphan Red's channel. I've not seen that. I don't know what that is. Do I think the BFR will take off? I hope so. Put it that way. All right. Let's answer one more. And we'll get out of here. Let's see. Your thoughts on the game development in the future and streamlining of knowledge? Don't have an answer for that. Wickus, sorry. Asking if I have something set up to accept Bitcoin. I don't. I can look into that though. The Gonzo fist behind me 3D printed. No, none of those are 3D printed. They're just little stands and printed on paper. Let's see. Okay, well, more people want to go. Looks amazing. Any more questions? One more question? I don't see any more really coming in. Harry's asking why YouTube's demonetizing all of my videos. I don't know. I'd have to see it. What were the reasons for Elon Musk to change the original ITS design? Asked Matthew. Well, I talked about it in the video, I believe, where I recapped his presentation this last time. The original one, I think, was just off the charts, way too ambitious. And mostly what I understood anyway was that, so it went from a 12-meter diameter, to a 9-meter diameter. And again, my understanding was the main reason for that was because they could make the 9-meter one in the facilities that they already had available. To make the 12-meter one, they would actually have to build a whole new manufacturing plant, or they would have to build a new facility to create it and house it because it was just that big. No other rocket was that size, to my knowledge. Could be wrong, but that was one of the main reasons behind it. And I think it also just offered more opportunities for commercial satellite launches and military work with the 9-meter size. That's my understanding on it. Oh, net neutrality. Yeah. They need to leave it alone. I mean, I don't have any thoughts that anybody else doesn't have. I don't know anybody in the world that is in favor of the things that they're proposing right now. And it angers me as much as everybody else. And what's mostly angering about it is that no amount of my anger or anybody else's seems to make a difference. They've gotten 20 or 30 million, petitions or sign. Like they put out something for people to sign, and 20 or something, 30 million people signed it, and it didn't make a bit of difference. So it's frustrating. I don't know. I don't know. my hope is that, if Comcast, and we're pointing at Comcast because they're legendarily awful, decides to throttle and mess with people, which we know they will, that maybe some new ISP could open up shop and that actually has neutrality. But the problem is, you would always be skeptical. There would always be that question now: are they being impartial or aren't they being impartial? And that shouldn't even be a question. Right now, we don't even have to think about that, thankfully. But in the future, we're going to have to. And it sucks. Anyway, so on that note, yeah, let's wrap this up. So thank you guys for joining. It was 2 p.m, my time anyway. I don't know when a good time to do live streams are because there's people all over the place, and it's convenient for some people and not convenient for other people. So I'll just do what's convenient for me. Kidding. Okay, so thanks for joining, And I hope you enjoyed some of the clips that I showed here. I hope that kind of answers some questions about YouTubing. And I encourage you to check out Julian's channel and the rest of the podcast down below. And if you're in the United States, have a great Thanksgiving. Please be safe if you're driving to see family. I'm actually driving to see some family myself, and had to get a headlight fixed in my car before I left today because I don't want to have an accident. So I hope you guys all do well. If you're not in the United States, I hope you just have a regular, wonderful week where you eat like a sane human being, unlike what we're going to be doing over here. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys. New video on Monday, lightning round. I think you'll enjoy it. I certainly did enjoy making it. So love you guys so much. Thanks for all the support, and I'll see you soon. Take care.